On this Garlic Marketing Show, we're going to talk about how one agency helped a plastic surgery center in Texas grow their metrics up to 200%. The one page that they added that wasn't the About Us page that grew to the second most used page, helped build authority, build SEO. We're going to talk about video marketing trends in 2023, the importance of ADA compliance for your videos so you don't get sued, what's the thing that's more important than SEO for your business, the two parts of SEO, and the 80-20 rule of digital marketing with my friend Bill Fukui, who's been doing this for 25 years. Bill, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
And before we get started with Bill and all of his amazing insights, don't forget this is brought to you by videocasestory.com. One of the best forms of video content is your customer stories. Go to videocasestory.com where we can help you collect, craft, and deliver those in up to 50 different ways. All right, let's get started. You've been doing it for 25 years. You're with Page One Solutions, Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Director of Sales Marketing, other places. You worked at Network Affiliates back in the day. Network Affiliates, geez, that was like one of the OG original, but you've been doing a lot since then. And I want to talk about, we're talking today about video, how it's working in the medical space, how this interesting section that you added on to a plastic surgery website. But how did you get into digital marketing? I want to know that.
Yeah, it was very coincidental this was 22 years ago. I was doing the TV advertising with Network Affiliates, as you mentioned, which is a traditional media, broadcast advertising. And we were doing television, radio, print ads, but we had clients that we were building websites for, but we had no idea how to generate traffic to it internet-wise. We would run ads with their address in the advertisement on TV, but we were looking for a digital way of promoting that website, and we stumbled across. We used directories. Clients paid a lot of money on these directories and stuff, wasted a lot of money, and then I got clients complaining that was the biggest waste of $20,000 you ever told us to spend. Don't do that again. And so we stopped referring that kind of business out, and we had to come up with something of our own. And I believe we were the very first agency to actually do on-site, page-by-page optimization, SEO work on plastic surgeons, dentists, attorneys. This was back, it was 25 years ago that we started beta testing this stuff.
Oh my God. And I can only imagine, because that was back when optimization was actual hard. On-site optimization was hard work, wasn't it?
Nobody knew what it was. So we were just playing with it. And this was even before Google. I think Google was still in its beta stage when we first started doing this. And it wasn't that it was hard work. It's become more hard work because of the competition and the value of it. Now everybody's trying to do it. But back then, nobody was really doing it. And it was the best kept secret. I had clients calling me up that were running TV ads and saying, hey, whatever you're doing on that website, keep doing, because we're getting leads from this, right? We're getting traffic and leads from it. And I actually had two clients that said, hey, is there any way we can funnel more money from TV into this, whatever you're doing on the website? Because I'm actually getting more leads from the website than I am from the TV ads. And obviously the light turns on going, wow, there's a service here. There's an opportunity here. So that was like 22 years ago that we started doing that.
Wow.
And it kind of blew up. And so in fact, it wasn't even called SEO back then. It was called search engine positioning. But that it wasn't very sexy. So SEO eventually took over.
And obviously you've seen a lot of trends change over the years. You saw SEO change, dozens of Google updates, changes, PC go from pennies to hundreds of dollars. But I'm always interested in the things that don't change in the fundamentals, because I feel fundamentals always win games. And I'm sure you agree with me. It's always starting with the fundamentals, isn't it?
And you're completely right. And for customers or businesses that are looking to work with agencies and such, it is not about the shiny objects in the window anymore. You're absolutely right. It boils down to you do the foundational things well. And it's the 80-20 rule. What 20% of what can I be doing that's going to get me 80% of the results? And it is exactly what you just said, foundational stuff. It is content. It is technical, making sure that website is technically built right for Google to crawl, index information, that it's fast loading. It's common sense. It's not rocket science. It's common sense, but it's about the execution and consistency of what you're doing. It's no different than what you do.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's consistency, it's great content. And now that content has to get better and better, doesn't it?
No, and consumers are becoming much more savvy. What used to be, oh, that's great content, that's pedestrian content now. Consumers are much more educated about all of the services and products that are being offered today. There's so much knowledge and information on the internet that you got to raise the bar, not only just in the substance of the information, but the delivery of that information, because people's schedules and times, how they consume information, it's changing. So it is about the substance, it's quality content, but it's also the manner and the delivery of that information.
Yeah, that's great to say because everyone just talks about content and then you have to have high quality content. Very few people talk about delivery. So let's get into that. What do you mean by delivery?
I think SEO was always, it morphed into this things where bigger website, longer pages. So we have these, what we call long form pages, where it may have 2,000 to 2,500 words on a page in order for it to rank in some of these highly competitive industries like personal injury law, right? So that's highly competitive. So the pages that rank really well, most of these SEO experts will say, oh, you need long form content in order for those pages to rank. And there is some truth to that, but it's more than just content. It's the assets that are on that page too, not just the text. So Google knows what is on that page. It reads the text, and Google has artificial intelligence now. It's growing smarter by the day. Google is getting smarter. And so it's starting to understand the intent of the content, but also it's the manner in which that content is delivered. So what I'm saying is it's not just about text, it's video, it's graphics, it's infographics, it's other information that you help Google understand what these assets are. And if your videos are transcribed, which in medical, it has to be transcribed for ADA Disability Act compliance. Otherwise, you can get fined for not having ADA compliant videos on the site. For hearing or visual disabled people, they've got to have both audio and video options, right? It's all those things. It's trying to understand your audience. And if they're viewing most of your content on your phone, you deliver content that's easily delivered on a mobile device, right? So understanding your audience is probably more important than quote SEO. Develop content that is appeals to your audience, what's of their interest, and then put it in a form, whether it's video, and I'm a strong believer in video, simply because let's face it, that whether it's TikTok or Instagram, YouTube, the vast majority of content being consumed on mobile devices today, it's video. And even on websites, you've got to have video content on there as well.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
You figured that. So what trends are you all seeing working in video content?
Great question. There's so many different ways to present information, and I'm a firm believer that you mix up the messages. So a lot of times when we have video shoots, a lot of the surgeons or doctors or attorneys would just sit in front of the camera and be a talking head, or I generally tend to say they look like a pitch person. They're pitching me. I don't think people gravitate towards that anymore. It is not about you pitching them. This is about them consuming information that looks more real life. So a lot of, I would say, B-roll footage, lifestyle kinds of stuff where it's got to be custom. If it's about a person or a product or whatever it is, it's got to speak to that, but do it in a more candid way. Voiceovers are great. It's more professional looking. But when you get deeper into the website, so again, higher, like the homepage, you want more of that branding, that feel. But when people get further in, now I can do more of those in-depth, interview types of content, talking more in the weeds and getting more details because I'm at a different stage of reading content, right? Now I'm interested. You got my interest, right? Now I'm getting further into the site. Now your page views and length of time on page starts expanding when you start getting deeper into the site and people are navigating to those things. So they're bought in, right? Now you can create content that's more detailed, more about products and services that maybe you're not reading about or that you guys do different than everybody else, that's unique, that's a differentiator. That's where that video really makes a difference.
Love it. And what are some of the places that you're seeing video? What are some of the successes you're seeing with video? Because I love hearing those because I think everyone thinks it's just leads, but I think there's a lot more success out there than just leads.
Oh, here's the thing is depending on your business, the buying cycle of consumers go through a buying and decision-making process, right? They don't just stumble on a Facebook ad, go to a website, and then spend $10,000, right? That's not how this happens. I'd love it if that were the case.
I know people think that, right? They're like, oh yeah, she was just looking through the Facebook, she saw the ad and she decided to have plastic surgery that day and she came in. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, no, I think societies and most people, with the exception of people that are in businesses that are urgent, there is a sense of urgency. Is if I'm a plumber, if I'm a personal injury lawyer, I was in an accident, or the insurance company is calling me to settle. Now I'm under pressure. I've got a window of opportunity to get their attention. I get it that those kind of businesses, they can do what I would call direct response types of exposure, a direct response. So it's that what Google used to call that zero moment of truth. When they do a search and they're looking for something and I got to buy something now, that there's value there. I get it. But depending on the type of service and business that you offer, the buying cycle for like plastic surgeons could be 6 months to 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Now it's about branding yourself and being the thought leader and staying in front of content marketing in front of them. And again, that includes social media. It's when you integrate all of the things that you're doing, Google SEO, paid Google ads, paid social media, organic social media, all of those things work together to where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. We hear that. No greater the truth than on digital marketing today. I would say there's websites. North Texas Plastic Surgery.com is a great example of that. It's where we're trying to integrate social media with website design, custom video, and all these other things that make for a highly effective website and repeat visitors. So this is a website where all of the content in here, they're all actual patients.
Nice.
So even the video that we produce on here, it's all custom video. But this is one of the sections right in here is where we want to start integrating social media with people that are on here, because we're seeing with Cosmetic, we're looking at they spend tons of time on Instagram and TikTok and all these other things, mainly because the celebrities drive all that.
Yep.
But I think we were the first ones to come up with where plastic surgeons have a before and after gallery, or dentists have before and after galleries. I get that. But what people really want to see is reality. This is reality. So we got patients. These were actual patients that were sending my client these selfie photos. And I was on the Instagram looking and I said, hey, Dr. Obeid, are these patients just sending you these? Like post after they had their surgery when they went on vacation and stuff? He goes, yeah. And I said, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. And he's, no, they just send it to me. They like it. And I said, okay, we need to take advantage of this. So we have created a selfie gallery on the website. And within, I think, maybe 2 weeks, this was the second most popular traffic page on the site. Okay.
Wow.
Again, integrating that reality that we want to get in digital marketing and SEO and websites, social media, all of this stuff, again, it works together. So I think that's a good example of integrating.
There's a few things going on. And for those of you all listening to the podcast, you got to check out YouTube because there's some not bad looking people on this website. But I think this is, Bill, yourself included, this is my best looking podcast of all time. But what's interesting here, besides that, is there's two things I see happening here. Obviously, we have visual and reality. So it's a real, there's a story being told here that I feel excited to show myself on social media. I feel excited to share myself and my body on social media. And that is, for a lot of people, a transformation. And that's the number one thing that we can sell with is transformation, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing too is we live today in a world where, especially millennials and younger generation, they want to be seen. They want to be popular. They want likes. They want traffic to their social media. They want a big following. They want to be an influencer, all these things. And we just need to help facilitate that. Help, not necessarily, I don't want to manipulate people or anything, but we need to create venues for them to facilitate the things that they want to do. So it's not like he was even asking for them to do this. They were saying, hey, are you going to put me on your website?
Man, this is a lot of pictures.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. And such a level of social proof, and it didn't need video at all. And so once someone hits this website, is this, I know this is the second most used page. How has it affected the rest of the traffic and conversion on the website?
The statistics, when this site went live and when we started incorporating all this custom video, custom everything, across the board, if you look at your Google Analytics data, Google Analytics is, if you own your own website and you don't have your own access to Google Analytics, you need to get that from your webmaster. Okay, that's your data, that's your information, and you need to learn how to use it. So when you get access to that, you can see what happens to the traffic, what happens to the average time on the site, what happens to average time on pages, how many pages do they visit per session? All of those things are elements that not only help conversions, but they also help with Google rankings. Google rankings now include user engagement signals. The more engaged people are with pages and with websites, it adds to the authority of that site. Okay, so you want to increase all that. Google Analytics is a great way of measuring that thing as you're making updates. When we made updates to this site and posted this new site with this type of stuff in there, we saw consistently anywhere from a 20% to over 200% increase in certain metrics that we're measuring.
Wow.
Average time on site went up. Number of pages per visitor went up. All of these things, time on site, number of leads that came through there, email form submissions increased, telephone calls increased. All of the lead generation things that we were looking at, we saw an increase relative to the traffic that was coming to the site. Okay, it's not that we drove more traffic. We were converting more with the traffic that we were already getting. And that's where I think good content and good updates, that's what you want. That's the win, is when, you know, these updates that you could measure now, how much did that affect it? Okay, we invested all this time, resources, did it work? And in this particular case, it blew it out of the water.
And did you take and use these selfies in other places?
Oh yeah, here's the other thing, is with pay-per-click advertising on Google, there's restrictions. There's nudity restrictions, right? Or pornography or whatever. So when you're submitting ads to Google, Google looks at the ads, but it also looks at the landing page that you're sending people to. And if those landing pages have any kind of nudity or links to any nudity, like a before and after gallery for plastic surgeons, right?
Yep.
Google will restrict that ad. It will suspend or it'll flag that ad as not conducive or not in agreement with their terms. Okay, so you have to resubmit it. These are great types of images to use on your custom landing pages for pay-per-click. It's compelling, it's emotional, but yet it doesn't violate Google's terms of use. And again, it's reality. It's all these are actual patients. So on your landing page, start leveraging your own patients, but you don't need to be completely nude or clinical before and afters in order for that page to be high performing. Use these kinds of images in any kind of paid ads that you're doing. Works great, but you just need to get the releases from the patients.
Gotcha. That's great advice. That's awesome advice. So tell me a little bit about how you all work and types of clients you work with.
We really work with all different types of professional services. We do work with some retailers, but in general, 99% of our business is either going to be plastic surgeons, cosmetic practices, med spas, cosmetic dentists, but probably our biggest space, which is my parent company, Blue Shark, we're big into the personal injury law or any kind of legal services. But I think anywhere where you've got a provider of some sort, a professional because product marketing is very different than service marketing. Service marketing really is you have an opportunity to build a relationship with, and that's where I think custom video, custom messaging, it is about creating a sense of likability, right?
Oh, 100%. And
that's my thing. If you can create messages, whether it's social media, a website, video, YouTube, and people experience that and go, there's something about it. I like Ian. I like him. If any of your marketing can create that feeling, that sense, can stimulate that out of people, that's effective.
Amazing. Awesome. We'll put a link to medsharkdigital.com in the show notes. And where do you spend your time on social media?
I'm mostly on LinkedIn.
So we'll put
mainly because most of my clients, it's a professional platform.
Yep. Oh, for sure. And we'll put a link to your LinkedIn on there. And Bill, besides marketing, what do you do for fun? I'm just curious.
Yeah. I like challenges. I like things I've been in business development and sales for a long time. And my goal with that is finding good fits, right? Finding a situation that I'm not good for everybody. We're not good for everybody. Neither are you, right? Not everybody is a good fit, even though they want to buy sometimes. So the things that I like to do, probably the one thing I like to do most, it's fly fishing.
Oh, nice.
Fly fishing. I live in Colorado. I do a lot of fly fishing, and it's going to different places, different times of the year. You have to do different things to the whatever you're using or your setup. Different flies. You fish on top. You float on the bottom. Drag it, bump it on the bottom. Whatever. So I like the challenge of getting something to do something it wasn't planning on doing before, but getting them to do something that I intended them to do. To me, that's pretty powerful. That's a pretty powerful thing.
Yes.
So,
you're marketing to the fish, right?
That's what I'm doing. I'm marketing to the fish.
And that's half my analogies are fishing, so I like fishing too.
I think the word we use, fisherman, it's the presentation. It's the presentation. You got to have good presentation, and marketing is no different.
I know. And then I'll introduce you to my good friend Darwin Buck, who's another major agency owner. He's a great fly fisherman, and we've got a bunch of them. So I think we're gonna have to have a fly fishing agency retreat.
I think we're gonna have to do this. I'm gonna keep you to that.
That'll be all. Dob and I have been talking about it, so I think it's something that might happen soon. But awesome, Bill. Thank you so much for being on the Garlic Marketing Show.
Thank you. I appreciate the time to speak with you as well as your audience.
Awesome. And make sure to check Bill out. Go to MedShark Digital. If you're listening to this, you definitely want to go watch the YouTube video. There's a lot of exciting stuff to see on the YouTube video. Make sure to leave some comments. Tell Bill what you learned and get in contact with him, especially if you're a professional looking for help with this. But until then, thank you so much for taking Bill and I on your journey. This has been Iron Garlic and the Garlic Marketing Show.